With the 4.0 patch ready to go live soon, hopefully, a lot of people are heading over to Pyro for the first time, only to find that once you get across the other side, someone's waiting there to gank you and blow you up because explosions are very pretty. This is raising the entire PvP versus PvE argument again, and in fact, this is probably as bad as I've seen this argument go since this game began. So let's dive into Spectrum and take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Montoya. The ongoing, never-ending debate about PvP versus PvE balance is reaching fever pitch here on Spectrum. There's multiple threads discussing it. And there are very few examples I can think of in MMOs I've played which have done it well. I think EVE Online has done it very well, and there's plenty of other games where it feels like it's okay, but other players don't really like it. Thinking New World, which has the PvP on-off button. You can choose whether you want to engage in PvP or not. In some games it works, but in this particular case in Star Citizen, I highly doubt that you will have a PvP button or a PvP slider. The idea has always been to be one big open universe, and they'll sort it out from there. But in the delay of them sorting out this balance, is definitely leading to a lot of controversy and a lot of people, I don't want to say crying about it, but a lot of people pretty upset. And I understand it. I really do. I came into this game from playing PlanetSide 2, which is pure PvP, and we were going to come in and just be PvPers in Star Citizen. But things have changed, and I know they've probably changed for you too. What's changed is that when I first backed this game, I had 0 children. I now have 2 children in 5th and 6th grade. I don't have 6 hours free in the evenings like I used to. I might have 1 or 2 hours. And if you're going to be putting 2 hours into Star Citizen only to find yourself getting blown up after you try go mining, it's a problem, right? I feel a lot of the player base here that have been around from the very beginning have had a similar story. Situations have changed, and PvP is not the focus like it used to be. Let's dive into one of these threads. I guess this one's got 350 upvotes, so let's take a look at that. And the topic is by Niblik. Write to OnePlus if you want CIG to give us PvE servers. Really? I don't know if that is on the table. They've always wanted a one server, a player versus all type game. So creating a PvE server separately right now, I don't even know if that's technically feasible. But let's take a look at some of the comments here. So third comment down is basically just mirroring what I just said. Hey, it's Pink Sparkles. You seem to be under the misguided impression that just because a few people want such a server option for PvE, it's suddenly on the table. It is not. As far as I know, the basic idea for Star Citizen has so far always been one universe and one server for everyone. That is correct. So not only do I not think it is technically feasible for them to create a PvE server, it's not the direction they want to go. While I do appreciate the idea of, and there's plenty of people who just want to log in, go to Pyro, fly around, take pictures, and enjoy what the new system has to offer without getting shot at, I don't think it's on the table. Here's Edric V countering that, saying he's wrong about the PvE thing because during the Kickstarter, now keep in mind, when they had the Kickstarter, it was envisioned as a very different game. You weren't able to fly from space down to a planet. It was going to be on rails. It was going to be an animation. Lots of things have changed since then. So whatever they say here, that has changed. A rich universe focused on epic space adventure, yes, that's still there. Single player, offline, online drop-in, no, that is not happening. Persistent universe, yes. Hosted by us, yes. Moddable multiplayer, no. No subscriptions, well, we do have subscriptions. No pay to win. What? Of course we pay to win. You spend money on a big spaceship and you win, everyone knows. Well, you see, some of that stuff is true, other stuff is not. Let me know what you guys think about this comment here by My High. It says, I think majority is PvE, like over 90%. I don't know about it being 90%, but it is pretty high. I know in my community, while we may have started as a small PvP community, as we grew, more and more of it started leaning towards PvE. In fact, right now, I would say 75% of orgs, of large orgs, are most likely, unless they're focused on PvP, are most likely PvE focused. Here's a thread asking for the exact opposite. CIG, please do not ever consider PvE servers. Let's see what this guy has to say. One of the key components to a dynamic universe is player actions, regardless of what the hardcore PvEers say, because the ego doesn't allow another person to kill them. PvP everywhere adds a sense of unpredictableness to every scenario. This is true. And I do feel, as I said before, this is the direction they want to go. Let's take a look at some of the other most active threads here. Why do pirates have access to the best weapons and components in the game? Why hiding stealth and military components behind PvP wall? Without even clicking these, I can tell you, and I hope someone did give this answer, is that right now, these items and these military components and these stealth components are behind the PvP wall because we just haven't got to the PvE part where you can collect the resources and make these yourselves. When blueprints come along, we will have access to the game loops, which will allow you to go and mine and collect the resources to make these components for yourself rather than PvP. I strongly believe that is the direction CIG is going. So while we don't have the PvE game loops, the PvPers will have those access to those components right now through their game loops that way. So let's click on that and let's see if someone actually said it. I think this one comes close. You're being overly dramatic. Contested zones are not the sole content in Star Citizen. Even in Pyro, there is and will be a lot of PvE content, including the sandworm. That is correct. And I showed us how you kill the worm, you get those pearls, and those pearls can be used to improve the stats of weapons and armor and whatever there is. So that is correct, Yoshirola, you called it right. And the reputation system and death of a spaceman will prevent griefing. I don't think griefing will ever be prevented. It's always going to be prevalent. I do think that we'll have to find a way to balance that out and make griefing a lot more of a serious offense than it is right now. Because as it is right now, if you grief and something does happen, you end up respawning, you simply do your prison time and escape prison, or you just get your alt and jump in your alt and keep on doing whatever you're doing. Everyone at this point has 5 or 6 alts, so it's not really a deterrent. Bodhi's comment getting the highest points here. CIG still doesn't include into that. They're well on their way to making Darkfall 2 in space. That is to say, a game catering to a niche crowd that won't be enough to keep the game alive or ultimately afloat. Interesting. No one wants to go through a griefer obstacle course just to be able to start competing with older players. The older players leave out of boredom or lack of new players to keep the game alive. I trust that CIG devs are well aware of the pitfalls and shortcomings of other MMOs, and I hope that they do read these comments and understand what we're getting at. I'm not too concerned just yet. I want to see the PvE content come in, but let me ask you your opinion. How do you see this shaping out? Where do you see the PvE and PvP balance coming in? Drop your comments below. I know this is going to be probably a passionate and long discussion, but let's start off, and if we get anything good out of it, I will summarize it and we'll talk more from that point. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, your comments below about PvP. Let's go.